6 p.m., Monday the 17th of April. Go ahead and get started. Ms. Amanda, if you can, call the order.
Commissioner Chauffeur.
Here.
Commissioner Peters.
Here.
Commissioner Shipley. Here. Commissioner Harbor.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner Aiken.
Here. All right.
Mayor.
Oh, that's right. All right, we have a quorum.
You got a double job.
I'll go ahead. Next up on the agenda is the approval for the minutes. If you look at the minutes, it's kind of three different ones. So you had the regular commission meeting that we had back in January. February was a joint work session, and then we had.
There's only one set of minutes.
Oh, because the other ones
The
were
other
like
two
work
are
sessions,
only the
trainings.
agenda.
That's right. Okay.
Yep.
And then, of course, we also met again in March, again for another work session and training.
Motion to approve?
We got a motion to approve by Commissioner Harbor. Have a second.
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Shipley. Is there any other discussion on the matter for the approval of the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any, object? Hearing none, motion carries. Next up is, reports for code enforcement for monthly activity. And Mr. Mark, the floor is yours.
As you can see by your, does everyone have a copy of this, of the monthly report?
Yes, sir.
It wasn't just a stellar month, but construction is back on the uptick. And as with that, with the warmer months, property maintenance complaints are on the uptick as well. So, other than that, that's been pretty steady. So unless you have any other questions, we'll just leave this for review.
Any questions? Mark? All right, hearing none, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we have no old business. Up next is for new business, and this is with the Atoka on Track Comprehensive Plan. I'll take that and hand the floor over to you, Mr. Bob. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, good evening to you. So we arrive at a point of potential adoption of Atoka on Track 2042. I had not really planned to go back through the plan because we had a work session in some detail about a month ago, 6 weeks ago. Plan's been before you, it's been before the public for all that time. We solicited public comments. Just to remind, before I come to a conclusion on that, just to remind the commission what we've done. I was just remarking to Amanda a moment ago that, and to Mark, that, and to Jim as well, that the process has really, really been good. We appreciated the Atoka process. There was good engagement. As you'll recall, we went through a period of discovery where we looked at the community from a factual point of view, but we also surveyed our advisory group in the city for various planning themes, and we had a set of focus groups, and we engaged the public in the discovery process. That was step one. Step two, we began to refine those inputs and that data and that information, the mapping, the development trends of Atoka into a vision. And the vision was supplied by the community itself. We teased that out, but the community supplied it. We took that into phase 3 and developed the plan, which is the document you have before you, and then moved over into phase 4, which was the implementation program. So what you have now is a final product, Atoka on Track 2042, and it's proposed for adoption. Now, in terms of the public review process, there were about 6 or 8 emails that came in, none of which were relevant to what the process was. There were solicitations for contracting, and can we help you rebuild your website? There was zero comment on the actual plan itself. And I always just want to put a disclaimer on a plan. No plan is perfect. These things are crafted by human hands, and so as time moves on, we will find things, or you will find things that you may need to be refined, adjusted, amended, and that's entirely appropriate because that's what the process is for. But with that disclaimer, you can be very confident that what you're looking at in Atoka on Track 2042 is representative of the community's vision and input, at least those that participated in the process, and we did have good participation. So unless I had not planned to go through the document again, it contains all the elements required by Tennessee law, qualify as a comprehensive plan for the community, and it sets the basis for development policy. We're in the process of wrapping up some major rewrite of the zoning code and subdivision regulations. And it also sets a vision for investment in Atoka in various ways, from downtown Atoka to other aspects of the community, recreational aspects, as well as private development. And that's the way it proposes its implementation. So without belaboring the matter, unless y'all have questions, Mr. Chairman, I submit it to you for your recommendation to the mayor and board.
Yeah, and so I tell you, I've reviewed the plan a few times actually, and very good, very thorough on it. So, my recommendation is we give essentially a positive recommendation to the board, mayor, and all. But that's up to you guys as a board, and whatever direction I want to take on it.
How do we do that in a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I will say, since I am on the board, I would welcome another member to make the motion, just in the issue of transparency.
Okay, I'll make the motion and we approve it and send it to the board on
Or we give a positive recommendation.
positive recommendation.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Shipley to give a positive recommendation to the mayor, board, and alderman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Peters. Is there any more discussion on the matter? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it very much.
And we can keep this, right? It's not top secret anymore?
Not why it's on that website for all to see.
That's right, that's right.
There's a tree for it, y'all better keep up.
That's right. All right. Is there any other miscellaneous items by the planning commission?
The only thing I noticed is I noticed a sign that went up at Tracy and Highway 51 about a new landscaping company. It says coming soon. I didn't know if we'd seen any applications submitted to the town.
The only application I received was a demo application to tear down the old residential structure that was there.
Okay.
There hasn't been anything other than that, other than him, Mr. Etheridge, Blake Etheridge is the provider. He's cleared the lot in preparation for his building. He hasn't got to that stage yet.
Okay. And then my next question, I noticed is the old 436 building gets sold, and it looks like a security company's gonna come in and subdivide that building and do a facelift, and I didn't know if will that come before us in like a DRC type application?
It's one structure,
I believe so.
that's pre-existing. So if it's contained, Jim,
Do you know how much they're gonna change to the
I
exterior?
do not, because I haven't
They
heard
put it on their
anything.
Facebook page, and it looks like a pretty major facade over it. Now, don't get me wrong, it looks good, I just
Yeah,
didn't know,
it-
once
it
again, from
looks
a
better than what's there.
standpoint, if it needed to come before us.
But I think what they're trying to do is,
It's down there,
across the road here, is
down there,
add some
yeah.
architectural features to the outside.
You know, he's in Mumford now, he used to be.
According to the concept that I saw, the same picture was saw, Commissioner.
I haven't seen anything submitted, so.
No,
I would say generally, yes. Any exterior improvement of the building, you'd want to see it in front of the DRC. They may be doing site improvements also, which could be an element for the planning commission. Now, it sounds like this is probably a good improvement, so we don't want to be too hard on them, I wouldn't say. Try to push them away and discourage them from doing it, but yeah, generally, if our codes are set up for the DRC to review exterior improvements, then it probably would be something we'd see. But we can follow up on certain and find out more information about it.
I believe it is in there.
It's on Todd's page, it looks very nice.
If only we could approve it off a Facebook post.
Just give it a like.
Well,
Thumbs
look,
up.
there are security companies, so when you sent it out, I thought, ooh, that's gonna look a lot better.
Yeah. All right, any other miscellaneous items from the planning commission?
Yeah, ask Ms. Tyra Faircloth to join us tonight, and tomorrow night I will be recommending Tyra to fill Keith Moore's position on the Planning Commission. I've known Tyra for a while, find her to be very analytical, she thinks outside the box, and I think she'll be a great addition to the town planning, not only this board, but just in general to the town of Atoka. So please, before you leave here tonight, introduce yourself to Ms. Tyler.
Any other miscellaneous items for the plan?
Yeah, I got one question. I noticed when we were talking about the Atoka 2042 plan, it was mentioned about major code rewrites and so forth. How long before we see those rewrites?
We were just talking about,
The rewrites are drafted, they've been through a first review. We've got to circle back around and refine and make sure we're complete, but they're the next thing up. So within 30, 60, 90 days, you'll be having that material.
Okay.
yes, that's what
Hopefully
I said.
next month.
Hopefully, we're gonna push that right along to a work session, joint work session for both of those documents and move it right along. So hopefully we can get that adopted in May or June as far as that piggyback on those two that have to, the zoning will have to have 2 readings because it is an ordinance. Subregs are here, is where you guys adopt and it moves. It doesn't have to go to the board.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, citizen concerns, Kurt, you got anything?
Nope, no.
Ms. Tyler, you got anything?
And the sheet is blank.
All right. All right.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn, got a second?